Good morning. It's Sunday morning around, probably 7:30 or 8. Just out doing my morning chores. I think I'm going to let these dogs off their leads because I continue to have to, I find this one every morning wound around a tree. I don't know what her deal is. But, hey 14. Anyway, so part of what I've started doing this week is I've moved on from my recovery area, and I'm starting to spread hay further afield to get the animals off of manure and spent hay. So, oh my. They've been doing this all morning. It's been interesting. Like, I think they're finally having some dominance battles. Hey, look how big that puppy is. You can believe she's 6 months old? What a beast. But I think I'm going to take them off their leads and rely on my GPS collars and try it out again. Because I am sick of untying them from those, some scrubby tree down in the woods on the hill. And I think I need to just let them have another shot at being trustworthy again, like the boy. And we'll see what they do. It's one of those really cool mornings. It's very humid out, so the hoarfrost is staying on the trees. You see that? I don't mind that at all. I'm not gonna stay out here too long. Hey, Bob. Are you duking it out too for dominance? Huh? I'm not gonna stay out here too long because I got to get ready for church, and I smell like sheep and hay and whatever else. So, plus she's having a hard time getting into the feeder, so I'm gonna help her along. She kind of figures it out, but yeah. Anyway, just a quiet Sunday morning doing chores. I'm only giving them a small piece of hay. They're getting this and that, and this is all freshly put out too. And the reason why is I'm going to come out here on days off. I come out more often to work the dogs so I can feed the animals and keep them topped on water, etc., without needing to put out a whole ration. Right, Bob? All right. All right, it's Sunday afternoon now. It's really interesting. The frost today has just stayed on the trees instead of melting off. Really beautiful. Hey, Bob. Hey, Bob. Giving the animals another ration of hay. I need to give them some more. We got quite a bit more to hand out, but I wanted to take a break. One of the things that's been on my mind is taking actions and making choices now that will reverberate to when I'm an old man. I'm 36 and feeling pretty good. I'm in pretty decent shape. I work out regularly. I have the farm, and so one of the things I tell Ann constantly is, because she kind of thinks I sometimes push too hard and try to cram too much into each day, and I tell her all the time, I want to do this now while I have extra, so that 50-year-old me and 60-year-old me doesn't have to press too hard. And that comes, whether it's clearing woods or, putting up fence or expanding, or that dog took my bucket. Hey, Bob, give that back. Okay, he's taking the bucket over in there. I'll have to go get that. But one of the other things that I really have to be mindful of is applying that same mindset to my animals. And it's come to mind, and I'm not trying to talk badly, but I've been watching some other YouTube channels. There's a fella in Ireland, and I'm really sorry, his name looks too hard. It's like Sean O'Falloon, and then George up north. And their compassion for their animals really, really comes through, perhaps more than mine. You can tell they just put the work and they care deeply about the outcome of the animals. And so I'm saying this not as a slight to them or to be callous towards my animals, but I've really decided as I started this thing, and I am just in the start of it, that I am going to make sure my animals work for me. And the choices I make about my flock now, about who stays and who goes, and how I breed and how I manage, and the culling strategy, in my mind, I'm going to see the results of it at the end of my life, or when I'm old. Maybe, hopefully not the end of my life, but meaning that, I've watched those two fellows in particular very tenderly care for animals that are down, and it's very admirable. And I hope that when that happens to me, because it will, it's not an if, it's a when, that I will have the same level of care that they've demonstrated. But what I am certain of is, if I have an animal like that that's weak, that I will help it get better and then get rid of it. And I will get rid of any of its offspring too. And the reason behind that is not to be, my nose up in the air, about the quality of my flock, but rather that, any one of these animals, when I'm 30, if that's a good animal and she's with me 5 or 6 years, there will be hundreds of sheep that come through her genetics on my farm. And so the implications of keeping one that's weak is that I will have hundreds of, links in a chain of weakness. And that means I will have to work all the harder to keep my flock and my, animals productive and healthy and profitable when I'm an old man. And to me, the time to be working my ass off is now, not later. And so I've had conversations with neighbors about my culling plan and strategy, and I've kind of gotten some sidelong looks. I don't know what you want to call it, where maybe they think I'm being a little heartless, and it really isn't heartlessness. It's because I'm not going to let an animal die if I can help it, but rather, I want when I am running out of energy, that this flock and their vitality and their energy and their genetics and all the good choices I made along the way can carry me forward, and into the next generation, hopefully even. That's why I went on my way to get that guy right there, because he came out of Greg Judy's flock, which has been culled ruthlessly. And I don't mean mercilessly, because I'm assuming he treats his animals, and then if there's weak, he's spoken about it openly. He treats them and then he sends them on the way. But ruthlessly, in the sense of weak animals don't have a place in his long-term flock and his long-term herd of cattle down there either. And so, starting this spring, I'm expecting to begin to make choices about who stays and who goes. And these are choices that need to be made ruthlessly, but not heartlessly, right? So I'm not going to do it and say, well, you don't belong, so I'll just stop feeding you. Or, you're sick, so you're going to die. A sick animal gets treated, and then I sell them, and I sell their offspring, and I remove as many links of weakness out of my chain that makes up my flock, with the eye on passing something profitable down to my children, or frankly, another kid who wants to farm, or that when I'm older, 60 or 70, when I am low on energy, that this flock will be paying me back for my choices that I make now. So it's just been on my mind. It's been wonderful to see the level of care that you see some of these guys put into their animals. I just sometimes wonder if we as farmers work for the animals instead of having the animals work for us. It's a delicate balance to strike, and I don't know that there's a perfect answer out there. But that's been on my mind for today, is being merciful but ruthless in the culling of your flock and the long-term implications of that. All right, I got to go get my bucket because Bob decided to take it over there, and then he walked off into the woods. Who knows? And And then I'm going to go inside and enjoy the remainder of my Sunday. All right.